Today we're going to do an unboxing of the Sony XAV-AX100, and I give a little overview and test run of my personal experience.
Let's go for a little fucking drive and see how she handles on the road.
Alright, today ladies and gentlemen, we're going to look at my new car stereo. It's the XAV-AX100. Now this thing came out in August of 2016, and it has everything that I've been looking for. And the main selling point is, of course, the Apple CarPlay. And it does also feature Android Auto. We'll get into that later. Bluetooth connectivity, but that does not work with CarPlay or Android Auto. Interestingly enough, you're actually able to play video on this with your USB thumb drive, and it's supplied with your mic and your remote. Now I did pre-order this from Best Buy, mainly because they actually had a deal on it, which gave you free install, which is regularly $100. And I'll talk more about that later, but let's go ahead and take a look at this puppy. Right here, we got the 6.4 inch screen. Very nice. And let's take a look at the back here real quick. And we got all our inputs, of course, the most obvious one being our USB connection. That's where we're gonna connect in for CarPlay and Android Auto. We got a spot for our wiring harness, and then our mic is gonna go in here. And we got a spot for the rear camera if you choose to have one. This is where you'd plug in your speakers, rear and front, left and right, of course. And let's take a look what else we got in the box here. And now we are greeted here with our wiring harness. It's got a lot of the stuff labeled here. For instance, this is where your reverse in would go if you were going to hook up your camera, so it gets that signal. Here's our remote, which I don't plan on using, and your extension cable for your USB. Some screws and Velcro, and last but not least, our microphone for our Siri. Our limited warranty here real quick. And here's a quick glance at the manual of how to hook it up. But like I said, I got free install at Best Buy, so we're going to let them do that, and we're going to check back in later. Alright, now that we got the technical bullshit settled, here we are a few weeks later. I got it installed. Let's check this bitch out. Alright, here we are. The unit's installed. We got a forward back button, a volume knob. That's what I really loved about this unit. Actually, physical knob. A lot of them are digital, where it's like, oh fuck, where's the volume? You know, you're trying to, the whole point is to be safe while you're driving. And then you got your home button where you can go back to your main Sony screen in this case. And if you forget what the hell the model number is, because this is a goofy number, right on top here they got it XAV-AX100. So I still have trouble remembering that fucker. It's a pain in the ass. And I did have this installed by Best Buy. Granted, I maybe would have did it myself, but I didn't know like what wiring harness and shit to get. It came with free install when I bought it for $4.99. So now I see that there's some on Amazon for $4.50. So if you can do it yourself, more power to you. But I'll touch on this a little bit later. They did fuck something up, but I found it and fixed it myself. So, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at the interface when we turn it on here. So Sony comes on, this comes on for about 15 seconds or so. And now we're gonna be greeted by the okay, this is on every single vehicle for your safety. You know, obey traffic laws, all that shit, just hit okay. And now we're at the main menu here. And now you can see right off the bat, you can put your own custom backgrounds in. It's a pain in the ass to do that. I fucking went through the books, tried to figure all that out, and it's a lot more work than it's probably worth, so I won't even know if I'd recommend that. So you got your tuner, your USB, Bluetooth audio, phone, and your settings. So let's just take a quick glance at each one of these. So tuner, if you want to listen to the radio, just go ahead and hit that. Immediately the radio comes on, and you can have presets and your seek and all that good stuff. They also have the automatic, the BTM that you can hit, and it'll bring up all that stuff that you need, the presets. See, I'm not very technical when I talk about this. This is for the average person, folks. So I just tell you how this fucker works. All right, let's go back to the home screen. And now, see the radio's playing? And for like, I don't want that to play because we want to talk. You can push this option voice button in, and then this will be your sound select, and you can go source, and then we're just gonna hit X on that, and that'll shut everything off. So, and now next we got USB. Now USB, you could put your MP3s on there on a stick or whatever. You just plug it into the USB hub on the back of the stereo. It does come with an extension cable that the Best Buy people did run to my glove box, but I didn't like all that cable sticking out, and it's a lot of extra shit, so I just shortened it and put it under here.
It does allow the ability to play movies, many different formats, which I'll put in the video here. I wouldn't recommend even wasting your time with that because the card's got to be formatted to like FAT32, and it's got to be like less than 720p, and it's just a pain in the ass converting that. I was busting my ass trying to figure out. I finally got it there, and it's just like, the time you do that, am I actually gonna sit and watch a movie in my car? Hell no. So we can also connect Bluetooth audio wirelessly through the phone. So we're gonna go here, hit Bluetooth, and then I have it paired already, but it'll pair. It's not a very good interface for that because all you're basically doing is being able to go forward and back, and then we can like go up a full, it's very clunky interface. You don't really know where the fuck you are. It's like, I don't recommend that. What I bought this thing for was Android Auto and the CarPlay, of course. By the way, I did have a chance to play around with Android Auto. My friend has a Android phone. Interface fucking sucks, and I know I'm gonna get some Android haters that desperately love their ecosystem. I love the Apple ecosystem. That interface, which I'm gonna show you in a minute here, is so much better than the Android one. And you also got your phone, very simple. If you got it paired up, which I do, we can just come in here and then you can dial your numbers, or we can go to your phone book. You can just scroll through whoever you want to call. And this is all just through the Bluetooth pairing. Taking a closer look at settings, you obviously can set your clock in there, dimmer I got on auto, and then it also comes with a camera input. I can actually plug in a camera to this, put it out back, and we can actually see back there, so it'll be a nice backup cam. Will I get one for this car? Maybe, maybe not. It's pretty small. I don't really need one, I guess. It's just a nice feature to have. Sound, we got extra bass. I got one up on the extra bass because I think that does help. The EQ, I love this EQ. The rock, it just sounds really balanced the way I like it. The faded balancer, this is awesome. Precisely like where you want it dialed. I actually have my subs in the back, hooked up to the left rear speaker. So it actually, when I dial it back, I get that right punch bass that I want, and it's less poppy in front. And then we got DSO, dynamic sound organizer, kind of goofy, but it basically mimics having two stereo speakers up on top of the thing. I just got that in the middle. I think it sounds extra good there. You can just play around with this stuff, get it set the way you like. And the extra stuff here, you can show the art wallpaper for your soundtracks. And then the wallpaper itself, they got a few other presets here that you can choose from, which is just as easy, or you can load your own, but like I said, it's a pain in the ass. One thing I want to say, I did upgrade the firmware last week. Scare of my life. I thought I fucking bricked my stereo because it was in the middle of doing it, and then it said, oh, didn't update, push reset, which is a reset button right here, hit with their ballpoint pen. Kept fucking doing it, it would not go through. Finally, I just reformatted the thumb drive, and actually, my problem was, because I found it on a forum, was I didn't rename the thumbstick. I left it untitled and you have to rename it something else, and then it finally recognized it, and thank God. I thought I bricked this thing and I have to send it in, but we're good there. Now touching back here on the screen, this is a 6.4 inch screen, and it's not the best. It's not like an iPhone screen where it's like the glass. It's got that, you know, that weird feeling to it. Also on this quick side menu where you turn your sound off, you can also access your extra bass, your EQ, and if you wanted to shut the screen off for some reason, that's there too. All right, now I got my iPhone here. Let's take a look at CarPlay and see what it's all about. We got my lightning cable here. It's hooked into the USB port on the back. We're gonna plug it in. And it immediately brings us into CarPlay. You can also hit home, go back to the main screen, and we can access CarPlay from there. Now taking a look at the main menu here, we got our music, podcasts, maps, messages. You can go to your now playing, your phone, and audiobooks. And you got your satellite signal over here. Now this is CarPlay 10.3. They added in these quick switching. So if you're in your music, I love this. I gotta go to maps quick. You can just hit that and that'll bring in your maps. Now looking over in the music here, that's the most important part. That's why I bought this. Just got like your iPhone interface. You got recently added. You can go to your artists, albums, playlists, if you have, you know, quick rock playlists that you made or whatever. Very simple. Download a music, which is on the phone, so if you're not in a cellular service area, hit that. You can have quick access to what's on the phone. I love these 4Us because this is stuff that Apple thinks that you might like. Like if I can go into this and go to Tuesday's playlist and we can hit Rock Hits 2001, that was a good year. Hit that and it'll bring up this awesome playlist that everybody was listening to, you know, back in the day. We got some Creed, Stained, It's Been a While. These are the songs that we grew up with. Seven Dust, Praise. All without having to worry about any of that. That's what I love about these For You playlists. And we can go to Browse. New releases, new albums that came out, top songs. This is all because I have Apple Music subscription and I love it. And you can also go to the radio and whatever, you know, they got Beats One, but they also have radio stations that you can assign off of music you listen to. That's another great thing about Apple Music. You can be like, okay, let's say I'm listening to Edema, Giving In or something. We got our quick spot right here. We can hit this, and if you love it or dislike it, it'll know your taste, but you can also hit Create Station, and it's gonna create a station based off of that song of what you would like. And to look at that, we got a nice up section here. We can go over to that. You know, Power Man's gonna play next. And then 10 years. And this is all songs that, hey, I do like this, and because I said create a radio station off that one song, it's bringing up stuff that's just like that. And it's pretty damn good. So another thing that's cool about this new CarPlay, we're listening to 10 years, it's like, oh, that's a good song. I wanna see the rest of the album. You can just click right here. It'll bring you to that whole album. So if you wanted to listen to something else off of that album, just like that. And if you don't have it on your music, you can add it here with the plus, and it'll get added to your library. And you got your shuffle and your repeat. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's go for a little fucking drive and see how she handles on the road. All right. Belt first, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here we go. Let's give her hell, folks. Will you? So it's very simple. We could also just use Siri, but I got my brother right there. I can do a quick message.
What do you want to say to Andrew?
When are you coming over? Question mark.
You're saying, when are you coming over? Ready to send it?
Yes.
Okay, I'll send it.
Now he's gonna get that message. But we could also, like, if I'm just on the music screen, we can also access Siri by holding this button. Play rock playlist.
Playlist rock now playing.
So very simple and efficient. Keep in mind here, the mic is up here. So that's how Siri and the NSA is listening to everything I'm doing. Podcasts are very nice. I listen to a lot of podcasts myself. Hit right there, stream through LTE. Fast forward 15 seconds, get by the commercials, which is always great. And because of the physical knob, you can simply grab it and turn it down. And if you turn it down enough too, you can also just say, hey Siri, text my brother, what's taking you so long, question mark.
Your message to Andrew says, what's taking you so long? Ready to send it?
Yes.
Done.
So now that that's sent through, let's see what it would take to get a response from him. So now it said that his message is there. I can hit the button.
You have a message from Andrew. Quit being so damn antsy. Want to reply?
Yes.
What do you want to say to Andrew?
Come on, quit fucking around, let's go.
You're replying, come on, quit fucking around this school. Ready to send it?
So she doesn't always get everything right, so we can...
Your message to Andrew says, come on, quit fucking around this school. Ready to send it?
No.
Okay, I won't send it just yet. Let me know when you're ready to continue.
And if you didn't get the message, we can also come back and they're all right there. It's not gonna bring them on the screen, which is, it's kind of a bummer, but it's a safety thing. They don't want you sitting there reading the screen. But, you know, sometimes you don't hear or pronounce something right and you're like, hey, what the fuck was that? You know, so let's touch on navigation a little bit. So you can easily say, take me to Wisconsin Dells.
Getting directions to Wisconsin Dells.
And it's that simple. I'm gonna pull over here because I'm gonna probably get in an accident if I don't. Let's just check this out quick. You can also search. It's got all this stuff we want to do: gas station, parking, food, restaurants, recent places. If I wanted to go to a gas station, okay, we'll do a quick trip here. Searching for a destination, we can...
Where would you like to go?
You can say your destination or you can go ahead and type it in. Wisconsin Dells. More routes, there it is. So we got ETA, how long it'll take you, all that good stuff. We can go more routes and choose a different path if we want. And then one thing I want to state right here, and I was telling you later that the Best Buy guys that put in my stereo did not hook up the dimming. So it's nighttime, I got it on auto dim here in the main screen. If you go to settings, that's where this is located, dimmer. I got it on auto, so you can do on, off, or auto. And it's supposed to be hooked up to your lights, but I found out they didn't hook up that orange dimmer wire. So now when you turn it on, it'll go into night mode. Very nice, dim it down. And I did have to back engineer that. I looked up the wiring harness, figured out what they didn't do. It's easy for me to take this dash off and find all that stuff. So if you're having problems with that, look at that orange dimmer wire and see if they hooked that up or not. Okay, so we can also go ahead and use the phone, and you can use Siri if you want, or you could just dial it yourself. Let me shut my directions off here. So you could come back to your main screen, click on phone.
Who should I ring for you?
Andrew Holfeld.
Did you mean Andrew Holfeld?
Yes.
Calling Andrew Holfeld.
So she doesn't always get it right, but it works. And now you can see it's calling. There you are. What the fuck is taking you so long?
Oh, I got a little sidetracked.
Sidetracked?
I'm getting there. Almost there.
Get your pants on and get going. And it's easy to get to a contact because you can just, type in that'd be their last name, of course. And then you can also do your keypad and type in your number. So very simple and efficient. And also looking at the music, if you wanted to get to your artist quick, you can come and go to artists. And then again, we can also come over here and say, okay, I wanted to listen to F and like filter. That easy to find your music, so. And because we got Siri and I got an Apple Music subscription, basically almost any song at my fingertips. So I could just use Siri and go, play Greed by Godsmack.
Greed by Godsmack now playing.
So it's like, this is like the future. You're on the road, you want to hear that song, don't want to fuck around. It's all right there, very simple, very nice. So there you have it, very simple, love it. I've been loving this interface myself. Like I said, the knob, that's what I really like about the Sony unit. You got a knob there, so if it's really loud, you can turn it down real quick. It gives you that realistic feeling instead of trying to find a button when you're driving, you know, it's not very safe. I also want to touch back here, you can access Siri from this button too as well. Just hold it, same thing. So there you have it, folks. This is the Sony, and I forget the thing, so it's right here. It's the Sony XAV-AX100. Goofy fucking name, great stereo. Thanks for watching, Dan and Mac.